book is the Murphy Camp project is kind of a labor of love for Peter, but also one that I think we're all celebrating him because it's our Ohio River, our riverfront. It was a project that he did from September to September, walking the river with his little pup every day. So he's going to tell us about it and kind of help us along on the journey and show us pictures. So he's going to talk to you, do a short reading, and then we're going to open it up for questions, and then we'll have the signing. So
great.
Sit back and welcome Peter Turini to Joseph F.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for coming out on such a blustery day. I know that was no mean feat, so thank you. It's greatly appreciated. As Annette said, we're going to walk through a little bit of how we got here, do a little readings from the book and do some questions, and, no holds barred. Ask anything you like. So,
What do you have for lunch?
Tuna fish. No, I just made that up. It is meatball hoagies, yes. Yeah,
Jersey Mike's.
You never know. I've got a little piece here that I'm going to walk through, and then we'll do a little book reading. A long time ago, I knew I wanted to write a book. I've read that you should write what you know. I was diagnosed with acute lymphocytic leukemia as a college student in March of 1988. Now, this may come as a shock to you, but I survived. I left the banana joke out, so it occurred to me that the story of that experience might be helpful for someone who might be going through the same experience. And so that's what I thought that first book should be about. I spent 10 years writing the first chapter of that book. I cannot count how many first chapters of that book I have, and I see a nod over here. And it wouldn't come. The book would not come. Hey, Murph, I got something here for you, buddy. This is from the wonderful people here at Joseph F. Ooh. Okay. There you go. My background is in photography, television production. I received a bachelor's degree from Northern Kentucky University in what then was called radio, television, and film. There isn't a lot of film around today, but that's what it was called then. It was there that I met the love of my life, Joy. I felt called to make a positive difference in the world and sought ways to do that by sharing music, my production skills with the community, and sharing humor and positivity with those around me. The book stayed in the back of my mind, but raising kids is a full-time job, and that dream would have to wait. Once our youngest child graduated from high school in June of 16, we no longer needed the house in Fort Mitchell, and Joy and I decided to sell and move downtown to an apartment on the river. This was a major change for our then 5-year-old Schnauzer Murphy. He went from patrolling the backyard to patrolling miles of green space along the rivers in Cincinnati. Morning walks became a routine by necessity, and I found a canvas to explore my photography. As I began to post images from our walks on social media, I received an overwhelming response, and within months, I began to receive requests to create a book about the adventure. Now, sometimes God can be subtle, and sometimes God can hit you over the head. Well, this was the latter. Perhaps I was trying to write the wrong book. Perhaps I could bring more light into the world through photography and a cute little puppy dog than writing a book about cancer. What I can tell you is that when I decided to take the first steps to write the first book, the blocks were gone and the book came together relatively quickly. During my walks with Murphy downtown, we met a man named Jim. He was about my father's age. Every time he saw me, he asked for a cigarette. Each time I told him I didn't smoke. And he always said, "You're smart, never start." We had many conversations, and Jim loved to play with Murphy. Jim lived in a tent under Fort Washington Way. Well, late one Christmas Eve, Murphy and I were out walking, and we saw Jim pacing nervously over on Pete Rose Way. He said he was waiting for someone to bring him food. So on our way back in, it occurred to me that maybe that someone was me. I asked Joy if she could whip up anything together for Jim's Christmas Eve dinner, and she said, well, I've got eggs. So she scrambled up some eggs and some Christmas cookies, and Murphy and I headed back out to make our delivery. Jim and I were both moved to tears, and we had an embrace. One day Jim was gone. I don't know where he went or if he's okay, but I still think about him and so many others living on the edge of society. I don't have the answers, but it was then that I knew I was called to do something. And so from there, I'm going to jump into an excerpt from the book, which kind of picks up the story from there. So what is the Murphy Cam Project? The Murphy Cam Project has become many things, but it is first and foremost an effort to photograph Cincinnati in a way that reflects my journey with a miniature schnauzer named Murphy, this guy right here. Our daily excursions of both necessity and curiosity often happen during the golden hours on the river. Bathed in the soft rays of dusk and dawn, the city presents itself in a way few get to experience. While Murphy searches for that elusive potty spot, I am left to my own devices, so I chase the light. The Murphy Cam Project has also morphed into my first published work, cleverly enough titled The Murphy Cam Project, a study of life and light on the river in Cincinnati. I never expected to appear on television with Murphy to talk about the project, but there we were, in the Channel 12 studios, the Channel 9 studios, at book signings and art galleries. It even landed on the shelf at Joseph Beth booksellers here in their local author section. What a ride. As the book came into focus, I found myself reflecting on the many friends Murphy and I made with our neighbors living without a home or regular meals. After some soul-searching and conversations with my wife, Joy, it became clear that the proceeds from the sale of the book should be used to help our friends in need. To that end, we reached out to Our Daily Bread, a soup kitchen in Cincinnati that serves over 400 folks a day. They are truly making a difference in our community. Due to the generosity of so many, we were able to present Our Daily Bread with a $1,500 check from book sales of the first book. We hope you enjoy the second edition of the Murphy Cam Project Year of the Flood. You will find photographs from September 17 to September 18, including the 2018 flood in Cincinnati, and many other events and sites that show the resilience and beauty of our city. Thinking about the past year, it occurs to me that there's a lot of good in the world, despite what we see and hear from the 24-hour news and social media cycles. I have observed the generosity of strangers in the face of natural disasters, and the hope that comes from servicing those most vulnerable in our communities. I have experienced kindness, support from friends, family, and even from people I have yet to meet for the Murphy Cam Project. I consider photography to be light therapy, but perhaps not in the way most would think of it. It is not possible for me to know what folks viewing this are experiencing, but I believe that sharing the light of the world is a task we are all called to do. The effort to share light through photographs is a literal attempt to pass along the splendor of my little part of the world and the light that touches it. Photography is a study of light and its effect on that which it touches. Art is the study of emotion and its effect on those whom it touches. Photography becomes art when it can elicit an emotional response from its viewer. If you are part of my Facebook feed, you will know me or know me in person. You know that humor is the second part of my light therapy. Laughter is a powerful healer of the body, mind, and soul. Storms of life will come. It need not be the storms that define us, but rather our response to them. If you can find humor in your darkest hour, you will shine light into the darkness and lift the veil. You will also feel lighter in the process. The last element of this light therapy is dogs. Yes, there I said it. So what, you may ask, do dogs have to do with sharing light into life's dark spots? Of all the animals we share this blue rock with, dogs have the unfailing ability to be glad to see you at the end of a long day. They are equally glad to see you, bums wiggling and all, if you step out to get the mail and return moments later. They are always up for a game of catch, tug of war, or cuddling with you on the sofa. We love our dogs. They bring so much goofy, tongue hanging out, doggy dancing light into the world. What a better companion to take along on such an expedition. Plus, daily walks with Murphy, my schnauzer, create space and time for me to think about such things and share my ramblings. If this project has lifted the spirits and brought light to at least one person over the course of a year, the effort will have been worth it. Hopefully we've accomplished some of that and call on those who have received the gift to pay it forward. What a difference we can make. Cool. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Great questions.
On behalf of all of us at JBET, thank
Absolutely.
you and congratulations. It was
Thank you.
awesome, so thank you.